In-depth coverage of the top stories and breaking news when it happens. News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Seniors in this country are the most vaccinated people around. Latest stats show more than 55% of seniors have at least one dose of the COVID vaccine, but the numbers are a lot lower for those people who work around senior citizens at assisted living centers or long-term care facilities. 15 states in the country have fewer than half of their nursing home workers vaccinated against COVID. On today's Ask the Expert, we're joined by Brian Levy from Cambridge Caregivers in the KRLD Zoom room. The low numbers seem shocking, especially when they're around the most vulnerable people.
It is. It's an issue. I'll tell you, there's fear. There's trust issues. You know, most of our employees or hourly employees are immigrants, and they don't understand our system. They don't trust the CDC. They don't trust the government. And there's fear involved.
How are facilities trying to combat this issue?
Good question. Education. You know, time has gone by now. So the people that were anti-vaxxers or fear of vaccinations have seen their coworkers get vaccinated. They've seen executive staff get vaccinated. People aren't dropping like flies. So there's time, there's education, and there's also just basic statistics. Do you want to die of a vaccination, or do you want to die of COVID? A lot more people are dying with COVID rather than vaccination.
We're seeing some of these numbers of the 15 states that are not vaccinated. Most of them are in the South.
I mean, when you look at the statistics, those are the states that have the lowest education rates and the most anti-vaxxers. Absolutely.
Are people deciding not to leave family members at these facilities because of the vaccination rate being so low?
Yes, that is happening. I think a lot of people are saying, you know what, this is not where we want our loved ones. Our care homes, at Manchester Care Homes, we've been COVID-free this entire time. And a lot of that has to do with just educating our staff and educating the families as well. You know, when they come to visit, we still our staff are masked, and we ask that our families are masked as well. So that's not an option.
What about the risk of COVID actually spreading inside the homes? Because we've seen cases where people that are fully vaccinated are still coming down with coronavirus, even if it's, minor cases of it.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I talked to a doctor last week who got vaccinated, and then a couple of months after that came down with COVID. So the risks are real. They don't go away. And I got to tell you, it's going to be a long time before we take masks off and stop washing hands like we are right now. And that's just, again, back to education, educating our staff on how to stay safe.
Well, how big of a challenge has it been for an employer of an assisted nursing facility or living facility to retain good healthcare workers?
Very. It's a huge challenge. And it was a challenge prior to the pandemic, just to have great, good, caring, empathetic staff. Couple that with mandates of all the CDC regulations and PPE, it's a challenge. And when you have these hourly wage workers that could easily pick up and go work somewhere else out of the healthcare industry, it's even more of a challenge.
What kinds of educational teaching tools are you using to get more people?
That's a great question, David. I'll tell you, our director of nursing works with our staff daily to talk about the importance of not just hand sanitizer, but washing your hands. Say the alphabet twice, wash between the fingers, mask above the nose. All of, when you think about the workers in our care homes that leave our care home, they go to the grocery store and they pick up the kids at daycare, and a day later or 2 days later, they come back in the home. They have to think, where were they and what are they bringing back in the home? So even if they were contaminated, they're still somewhat protected with PPE, gloves, masks, and washing hands.
Brian Levy from Cambridge Caregivers on Ask the Expert every day.